Before we begin our Academic Achievement Committee meeting, I will highlight safety protocols and expectations. If you are fully vaccinated, you do not need to wear a mask while on the grounds of the GRPS Franklin campus. Individuals who are not fully vaccinated are required to wear a mask. Public comment cards and meeting agendas are located at the entry of the auditorium. Once you fill out a comment card, please submit them in the drop box next to the comment cards. Our board assistant will collect the cards when I call for public comment and deliver them to my desk. I will call on each individual one at a time to address the board to come to the presentation table and address the board. On behalf of our Academic Achievement Committee, thank you for being here in attendance with us. Okay, so I will call our meeting to order, August 4th, Academic Achievement Committee.
Okay, so Ms. Davis, members of the board, we have our agenda for you this evening. We are going to begin with an instructional council update from Ms. Amy Powney. Mike Hastings is with us this evening. He's going to do a Schoology demonstration to show you what Schoology looks like from the teacher perspective and some of the tools that our families can use. Mr. Rodney Lewis is here to give an Ottawa Hills High School Academies update. And then lastly, Mr. Atkins will finish up with a Summer of Success update. After that, I will take questions and concerns as it pertains to subsequent meetings. We're hopeful that we will share our academic plan with you next meeting, as Dr. Roby referenced at the board. So we would like to share that early on as the school year starts to let you really know our thoughts moving forward for the 2021-2022 school year. So without any further ado, Mrs. Amy Powney with an instructional council update.
Thank you, Dr. Gorman. Well, good evening, Ms. Davis, Ms. Grant, Ms. Williams, Mr. Ross. I'm just here to give you a brief summary of our last meeting and how instructional council ended for the 2021 school year. We met for our final meeting on May 19th. Dr. Colin Boole and I chaired and facilitated this meeting. At this meeting, we had one course proposal that was brought to us by Southwest High School. Miss Yannette Gardner, a teacher at Southwest, and Carlos de la Barrera, the principal at Southwest High School, brought a Latin American history course for us to review. It was presented as running this fall of 2021 for 8th graders, and it is a course that already existed in our catalog, but Miss Gardner has worked on updating the curriculum and making a new textbook choice for this so that it could run at this school. She described 6 units with really engaging projects that are going to be a part of each unit, and the course will be taught in Spanish. Because the focus of this course has both history and language standards, this is going to help prepare our 8th grade students this will be used as a pre-AP course to help prepare them for success with the 9th grade AP Spanish course. And so just a little brief explanation, she brought such passion and enthusiasm and is so excited about this course that it was definitely infectious. The entire council was really excited for students to be able to experience this. She talked about how excited she is to bring a really authentic portrayal of Latin American history to the students and to really build in all students really positive cultural identities through the studies that they're going to do and the connections that they can make to the Latin American history, as well as students' own cultures that they're bringing in. So it was really exciting to hear. And then Dr. Colin Boole shared that he's looking at ways that we can leverage her enthusiasm and excitement and bring this course to other schools as well in the future. The textbook is offered in both English and Spanish, so he is looking into ways that we can have that course run in the future at other buildings as well. So that was the only course proposal that we had brought. The rest of our discussion really centered around just updating the council that the course proposal process we worked on throughout the year had been communicated to the system. And really just a discussion of the transfer of leadership. So for next year, it will be GREA that are the chairs of instructional council. And so Dr. Kalambula and Mary Bowens, being senior members of the council, sort of gave newer members sort of a update on how the process works for designating members for next year. And then just talked about, we had a discussion about how we really will look forward to being able to meet in person this year at a school as we've done in the past pre-COVID. And then that we would continue to meet the third week of the month, either on Wednesdays or Thursdays, but we will wait to see depending on after members are chosen and what works with teachers' schedules. And so all of those dates will be designated after we have a new council established for next year. And that was really all that we had at the meeting. It was a brief meeting, but really good.
Can you share that teacher's name that you said?
Yes, Miss Yannette Gardner.
Awesome. That sounds really exciting. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? That's good.
I'm just curious, not that it matters, the change to GRA being chairs, I'm just wondering what precipitated that, just more curious.
We do that every year, so
Okay.
every other year.
Gotcha.
One year it's the district
Okay.
that chairs it, and then the next year GREA, and we take turns each year.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. My name is Mike Hastings. I'm going to do a little demonstration and just intro to the Schoology Learning Management System for you. Thanks for having me here. Nice to see all of you. Full disclosure, if you interrupt me and have any questions, I'm suffering with some allergies and I can't hear from this side, so you're going to have to use your teacher voice.
Fair enough.
Okay, so up on the screen here, we've got the Schoology platform. This is what it looks like from a teacher view when a teacher is logged into the system, what their courses would look like when they log into the system. I have a sample course up here called 6th Hour Music Section 1 that is indicative of what a GRPS staff member might see in their course list. I have some that are training courses that we're providing our staff through the Schoology LMS to get them up to speed this year. Staff have opportunity to deal in courses, which is what we're looking at here, which is academic student-teacher interaction. They have an opportunity to build groups at the building and classroom level that are more informal, things like athletic groups, student council, maybe an after-school robotics group, a grade level group, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, within a building to communicate with students and families. Teachers have a place to store and share resources here. They can access their district Google accounts from this resources button, as well as their district OneDrive, their Microsoft OneDrive that is attached to our district computers here as well. And then through tools, they can look at advisory information on any student in their building. So if they're in an advisory role in a secondary level, they can look at academic achievement for that particular student, how they're doing in a particular class, missing assignments that are coming up, things of that nature. I want to jump in real quick to the course, but before I do, over on the right-hand side is a really strong feature of the learning management system. You'll see from a teacher standpoint, I'm a member of a class, so I've got an overdue assignment that I need to complete as a teacher. I've got reminders here that I've got 16 ungraded assignments and 12 ungraded discussion posts that I need to get handled for my students, so it keeps me on point and on task, so the grades are up to date for my students and my families. And that also tells me what's coming up on my calendar with all the classes and all the assignments that I have. So this is kind of a dashboard, a launching page, if you will, for teachers. Once they click on a course, the course layout is very basic and similar from teacher to parent to student. It doesn't change very much. You've got a file folder layout here in the center that teachers can build. They can provide, for example, here a parent information folder, a student information folder, individual student folders, assignments for that week, past weeks, so students know where to access things within the learning management system. And again, within this course, over on the right-hand side are reminders. You've got an ungraded assignment submission for this class. You've got an assignment coming up that's due, and a couple that are due in the next couple of weeks. So great opportunities for teachers to, again, stay on task and keep those assignments graded and up to date, the gradebook up to date for students and families. The gradebook is integrated right here in Schoology. We can click on it from within a course, and you can see students here and their grades. You can see their total overall course grade. That Eric Harmson, he's not a very good student of mine in this test class. But you can see there's notes. You can, as a teacher, you can indicate an assignment is missing or incomplete or excused. You can make comments on that grade that the student could then see. So a lot of communication and interaction opportunity here between students, teachers, and families here in the grade book. A lot of reporting options here as well. The other thing that is a key component of the learning management system is the variety of different assignments that are available. You can do a discussion post. This is an example. Students and teachers can engage in discussions and upload photos, do video, audio responses. So for our English as a second language students, they can upload themselves reading content. For all of our students, they can upload themselves reading content, responding verbally and orally to content for teachers. So really opening up and differentiating that assignment piece. We can also integrate Google materials into our assignments as well, which teachers have built a lot of Google content in the last 20 months or so with the pandemic, and so they'll be able to utilize all that as well. From the teacher standpoint here, there is a calendar that's available for the class that allows them to, if it'll work for me, of course it's not going, there we go, allows them to see what assignments they've got set up for that class when they're due. I've got a bunch of calendars that are unclicked here in this, there we go. So that shows when I have assignments due for my class. It is important to note that not only do I get to see what assignments are due for my class, but as a teacher, I can look at the workload planning option, and I can see my students, and I can see how many assignments they have assigned to them by other teachers, by other classes that they have in the building. So if I'm working on assigning a large project or a test or some sort of performance task for my class, and I see that this test student already has 2 assignments due from other classes on August 6th, I might choose as a teacher to help distribute that workload for the students and assign that to be due on a different day. And students have this ability as well, as you'll see in just a moment, to see this workload and to see when things are due on their calendars. So it's going to allow our students, staff, and parents to really work together and collaborate to get our students looking at that big picture and looking at not just one class at a time in little silos. Moving on to this same class from the student view, you notice that the view here, I'm logged in as a test student, is almost identical to the view we have as a teacher. Valuable in many ways for teachers to help guide and work with students as they're learning the learning management system. But from a teacher standpoint, as they're building content, what they see in a teacher dashboard looks identical to what they see in a student dashboard. There's no crazy differential. It's not odd or different. You'll see that the students have their courses that they're enrolled in, first, second, third, fourth hour. And if we click into that 6th hour class that I just showed you from a teacher view, you see it looks almost identical. Same folders, same click options. And if we look over here, importantly, upcoming, right? What assignments are coming up on Thursday, August 5th, Friday, August 6th, you have assignments due in this class. Students can navigate from here right to that assignment, and they can go and complete that assignment from there. They've also got a calendar that they can look at that will lay out their academic calendar for them. In the case of this test student, they've got several color-coded classes here, and these are all assignments that are due for that test student coming up this month. So they can look with an advisory teacher or another adult representative in the building and coordinate and look at that big picture for their academic schedule. And they can look at it with their parents as well, because their parents also have access to this calendar. Go back to courses. Students also can join groups that are made by teachers or adults in the building that they attend. In this case, this student is a member of a National Honor Society group at their building. Less formal, but a way to bring students together that are part of a common activity, to communicate, email, receive important information, documents, permission slips. The sky's the limit. You could have a group built in a building for an athletic team or athletics as a whole. You could have a student government group. Just ways to bring that school community together more informal and away from the formal classwork under courses. And one important thing to note from the student view here is you'll notice that there is a box that lives right on the top on the right here. It says overdue. You missed something. There's an assignment that should have been turned in and it's not. And they can click right to that assignment. You'll see it tells you what class it's in. So there's really a nice way to keep themselves accountable for assignments and materials and their calendar and their workload as a student. Yes, go ahead.
I see the little bell there. Can they set alarms for that as well, that they
Yeah,
get
so
different alerts?
That's a great question. Yeah, there's two communication pieces within the system. One is notifications. So one would be you have a grade posted. Or one of your teachers posted an assignment and it's due. So these are similar to notifications in social media, right? Which a lot of our students are already trained to react to. And so they see that little notification icon and they want to see what's going on in the class. And it might say, Mr. Hastings graded this assignment. You might want to go check out and see there's a response. They also have the ability to communicate with messages with teachers as well. Within the Schoology platform, so they don't have to leave and go somewhere else. They can communicate right here in the platform. They would also receive messages here and notifications here from their building principal. If their building principal made a building announcement, hey, we're going to have a fire drill today during 5th hour, whatever the case may be. Don't forget to attend the pep rally on Friday. Anything that a principal might want to communicate would show up there as well. As we flip over to the parent view, you'll see that it looks a little bit different, but the content it shows the parent everything that the student is engaged in the Schoology learning management system. And so you'll see the classes that the students are enrolled in. These 5 are just test classes, so there aren't any grades in there, but our student has got some grades for 6th hour music, and it gives the current grade in that class right there. So a parent at a glance on their phone app, on an iPad or a mobile device or on their computer can see the student's grades, just a real quick snapshot. If they want some more detail, they can click on the class and they're in the class, and this should look familiar, right? This is what the student sees, and this is very similar to what the teacher sees. So there's no disconnect between parents, guardians, families, and the students and the teachers. They're all seeing the same thing. They can click on the same folders. They can look at the same assignments. They can see communication between teacher and the student and the work. In this case, there's the student's work right there. Doesn't look like the teacher has graded this yet. So there's no communication there, but parents can view everything. Instead of just seeing a static grade with no content, with no assignment there, with nothing to put in context where that grade came from, parents can go in and look at exactly what students see in their class and see those communications. They can also click that calendar icon for their student, and they can see the same thing the students can as well when it comes to their workload for all of their classes. So they can see when assignments are due. So if we're using this properly, we're taking away no, I don't have homework tonight, right? Or that's not due until next Wednesday. We can go on here and we can see when in fact that's due and help hold our children accountable and the students accountable in our classes.
Are some assignments still like a lot of these, they click on the assignment, there's the assignment, and that's where they turn it in. Are there still like physical turn-ins too?
Absolutely, that option exists. As a former science teacher, I was a big lab guy. I wouldn't have a lab on learning management
Right.
system, but I would have the directions for the lab on there,
Okay.
and I might have some sort of product that the students would turn in to me digitally, maybe taking a picture of something or whatever the case may be, so I could note that in the learning management system. But if I desired as a teacher and it was a paper pencil assignment, then I have the ability to go into the grade book as a teacher and just add a paper pencil grade right into the grade book.
Which will show up on here. in a
Exactly,
second.
which will average into the grades and calculate. That is the basic overview. I've got a couple more seconds on my timer. Is there any other questions?
Yeah, just a quick question. I'm assuming the building leaders have access, oh, teacher voice, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm
you
assuming
got it.
building leaders have access to individual teachers' platform just for own accountability and whatnot as well?
Say the question.
I'm just asking, do building principals have access to individual teachers'
Yes.
platform?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. So we can look at that actually from my login. A principal is going to have a similar dashboard to me where they can come in and they can type in their school and they can search by teacher. If they want to just do a spot check on a staff member, see how the courses are looking, they can go in and they can see all of the sections in their building and interact with those sections and view them from afar to do a check. Absolutely.
With regards to subs, are they, particularly long-term subs, are they getting any type of training with regards to this system? And will they have some type of guest access to be able to utilize this during those assignments?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Similar to what we had in place last year during the pandemic when we had long-term subs using the digital resources, long-term subs are issued a GRPS Google account, and that's all you need to log into to Schoology. So they would have access, and what would happen is the building principal or that teacher, if they knew about the absence ahead of time, would add that sub as an administrator to that class, so they would have access. Absolutely.
And my question is, how are we training parents or letting them know how to utilize this?
That's a great question. That's handled largely, sorry, didn't know that volume was on. That's handled largely at the building level, working one-on-one with building administration teams to work through what they're going to focus on best. The way it works is parents sign up for a unique Schoology account, just like you or I would sign up for a bank app or an Instagram or whatever. We don't manage any of their passwords. We've got training videos for them that buildings can disseminate, as well as one-pagers that they can print and email out to parent with notification letters. And then parents access Schoology by a student access code, which is distributed at the building level. And that keeps all the data tight. And so parents, and then Schoology, once they have an account created, one of the shining resources that they have is just a phenomenal support site. So parents would have access to that same support if they had questions or support as well.
Is there capabilities in the future, or maybe it's something you already have done, where parents would have access to groups for parent information?
Absolutely. Yeah, that access exists. It's, our rollout plan is tiered. We want to get everyone on board and participating with fidelity this first semester. But as we move into the latter part of the school year, second semester, moving on into 2023, there's opportunities for parents to take courses even within Schoology. So we've been in conversation with our parent university team about what that might look like moving forward. That's not something that's active right now, but we do have the possibility to utilize the platform for stuff like that, for sure.
If I'm a parent with multiple children, do I have access through my single login, or do I need to?
That's a great question. So up here on the right, you see I've got my name. And when I down-click on my name, if I was a parent with children, my children would be listed underneath my school. And if I had 7 children, there'd be 7 children listed there. So you'd log in once. You would need to use that access code for each individual child, one-time setup. But after that, it's all from one spot. The key is for parents and students and teachers to all be looking in the same place for all the really important, pertinent information from day-to-day learning. So everyone's on the same page, and Schoology really does provide that for us. I believe I'm out of time. I think any other questions?
One more question for
Go ahead, sorry.
You mentioned Parent University and that they have the, looking at options of them taking courses through there. Is there an option for there to be training on Schoology for parents through Parent University?
Potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, but I oversee Parent University, all of its options. So everything's on the table. We want to make sure parents trainings, families, and teachers also know how to work with families with this new platform as well. So anything that we can think of, we can do.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off that, we do have parent university training scheduled for September that are GRPS technology basics. And then we have them scheduled further out in the year as they get more detailed about Schoology use and candidly other GRPS tech product, tech tool use as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Whoops.
Good evening, Madam Chair Davis, Ms. Grant, Mr. Ross, Mrs. Williams. I'm Rodney Lewis here to present an update on the launch of the Academies for Idle Hills High School. Most of you are aware that 2 academies were supposed to launch this past year. They were put on pause because of the pandemic. One of the academies is Academy of Media Production. There's a lot of verbiage there with the program description. I'm going to lean to my right and say, basically, the cohort size per academy, we're looking at 15 to 20, and that's per grade level. Both academies that we're going to launch this fall will be 9th grader specific. So those are individuals that we'll be looking at processing this fall. For 2021, we've got 2 offerings for the Academy of Media Production. One offering will be the Introduction to Graphic Design, and the other one will be Great Customer Service. Great Customer Service will be embedded throughout all the academies, and that will be the course that will be offered during the first semester for both academies that are launching this fall. The second course, the Introduction to Graphic Design, those courses have been, the syllabi have been created. They just have to go to instructional council, which they'll do this fall. And then we'll have them roll into second semester coursework. Okay. Career paths for the media production, looking at television, graphic design, radio and music production, as well as broadcast journalism. When we look at Academy of Public Safety Services, we're looking at, again, a cohort of 15 to 20. And that, again, we'll start with the 9th grade. We'll have initial course offering a Great Customer Service will be first semester. And then the Introduction to Public Safety Services, which the syllabi has been created. It just has to go to instructional council. Again, those 2 courses together will go this fall for preparation for second semester. The career path for public safety services will be firefighting, police, military, government agencies, whether it be local, state, or county, or federal. Curriculum development, I just kind of spoke about some of that. There will be an academic design team or academy design team that works to support each academy. We will be developing the 4-year course sequencing. That course sequencing will be composed of our Michigan Merit curriculum, as well as additional courses that we will be created that are academy specific to support the program, as well as some courses that will be supported by our dual enrollment processes. All the academies we're building in, as we did with hospitality, the opportunity to put in dual enrollment courses so students can have at least 3 to 6 credits before they leave high school. Course adoption, again, we'll be taking these 2 courses to instructional council. We'll connect with Mr. Kalambua as well as Ms. Powney to get that process rolling. All of the Michigan Merit requirements have been approved. Those are the standard courses that are taken by any student within our high school division.
Can you remind me what the NAF stands for?
NAF.
Right, but
National Academy Foundation, but they have strictly gone to NAF now. They don't use the verbiage of National Academy.
and I remember
Foundation.
learning about them. I just forgot
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah,
okay.
so they're just NAF now. So college and career readiness, We're looking at building out courses that will be supported by, specific to the academies. They will have internships built in, whether they be paid or unpaid. They'll do about 120 hours of site work with the internship that they partake in. College readiness perspective, again, that's Michigan Merit Curriculum, that's all your core content areas. They will be scheduled to take the Michigan Merit exam, which all juniors do in the, excuse me, the spring of their high school career. Okay. In addition to the four-year course sequencing that all students will take, there'll also be a work-based learning plan that they'll participate in as well. And there's three facets to that. That's the career awareness, career exploration, and then career preparation. That career preparation piece is more so connected to the internship process that kids will take advantage of, whether it be paid or unpaid.
Mr. Lewis, I have
Yes.
a question about the career readiness.
Yep.
It's been quite a while, but in our last meeting that the full board had about the academies, we talked about some backwards mapping with the individual academies, looking at the careers that they would, like not all of them, but a good amount of the careers that kids would be able to matriculate to, and what are the potential salaries, what employers do we have in this region that we could potentially connect them to for those internships and things, and then kind of backwards mapping that way. Have we been able, and it's been quite a while since we had that conversation, but it would still be really interesting just to know that the investment that we're making as a district in these individual academies will lead to, good paying jobs with a variety.
Yeah, some of that has been built out into some of the marketing material that we've had.
Okay.
But a lot of that also is going to be embedded within the coursework that they start participating in, especially the entry level courses.
Okay, I know that there was a request, and a small thing called COVID happened, but there was a request from the full board just to see what some of those opportunities looked like and what they could be.
Okay.
So I'm not asking for any rush on that, but that would still be really great to see
Yeah.
what we came up with those academies.
We can definitely bring those to you.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Grant, if you like, we can bring it to the next meeting and show you some visuals if that's appropriate.
That would be awesome. I know, yeah. Yeah. But I know it's also a full board request too, so for us to be
Okay.
able to share that, whether we bring it up in a work session or we pass it along. And I'm looking at the chair.
Yeah, I mean, if we have room in a work session, I think it's just been so long since we've talked about the academies that it might be nice to have a refresher of what's going on.
Okay, I'll speak with Dr. about our work session.
Okay,
That's
thank
perfect.
you.
All set there, Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Okay,
thank you.
all right, wonderful. And then the last slide here is just the academy partnerships. These are some of the partnerships that will be participating in the academies. You got WMCAT, Fair State University, City of Grand Rapids, Grand Valley State University, Community College, NAP, and Kent County Sheriff's Department, as well as the Grand Rapids Police Department. And of course, we'll have fire as well.
Question from teachers and instructors. Obviously, we leveraging our current instructional staff. I guess I'm just wondering, since obviously some of these subjects are not in their, expertise or wheelhouse, just want to hear a little bit more how we're preparing them to teach these.
So currently, like the graphic design course that'll be offered will be taught by an art teacher that we currently have. They have the endorsement to support that. And then from a perspective of the public safety services, right now we have it scheduled to go to the ROTC instructor for the entry-level courses.
And then what are we thinking, I guess, long-term, obviously, like I said, entry-level courses, but once we get beyond entry-level, just curious what we're thinking as far as preparedness for instruction.
Long-term, especially for the public safety services component, Mr. Johnson and I, Larry Johnson, will be working with some of the instructors down at GRCC and see if we can get them to come over and help support some of that processes for teaching.
Thank you.
So would it be safe to say that when we look at teachers for these courses, for all the academies, it's not necessarily the traditional hiring of a teacher, it's working with the partnerships and determining who would best?
Yeah, it would be a combination of both. but it also comes down to the endorsement. So they have to have the endorsement or certification to be able to come in and develop or teach courses within our curriculum.
Okay.
So I guess in that regard, you talked about the endorsement, obviously makes me think of, at the state level, and I know and this is kind of a running joke in higher ed, that you have folks teaching class, but they never get taught how to teach. So they don't necessarily have these endorsements. So again, I'm just, just wondering about our opportunities to really sustain this with quality classroom instruction. And again, like I said, the endorsement piece might be a hurdle. So just thinking aloud and wondering what we're thinking as a group.
Yeah, that's part of the conversation. That's a part of the academy design team work that we'll be pulling together.
And maybe if we have time during a work session, we can do some deep dives into some of that content, like how we go about the hiring process, determining who's teaching the courses, that type of thing.
I think once we get the 4-year plan created and listed, we'll have a better idea of what the needs will be.
And there may be some instances where there are some really good instructors, maybe at Grand Rapids Community College, where we would use one of our teachers as a teacher of record. So they would essentially co-teach the class. So let's say that we had a really strong government teacher who could partner with someone from Grand Rapids Community College. We've done those things in the past to incorporate folks who are in the field into the classroom experience. So that could be an option.
I feel like I'm always saying this, but once the students get older in the higher grade levels, it would be awesome for them to go to campus too and not just be taught in the school building. I know people are always telling me all the things, but I left Ottawa every day and went to CC and I survived, and it was a really great experience.
We have increased our dual enrollment rates because we brought the instructors to the school,
Right.
but there is a benefit to getting on
Both,
a
or
higher
an
ed campus.
option.
So both, absolutely, Ms. Grant.
Can you remind us what the rollout schedule is for the rest of the academies?
So right now, we're going to roll out, we're going to launch these next two, and then we're going to try to spend some time with them and build it out right. I would say probably a couple years out before we try to launch and roll out another academy.
Then that takes me to my next question, since some of the other academies may be out a ways. Is there still conversation and opportunity to adjust what those academies were? Particularly, I don't recall there being any focus with regards to coding. However, we know that that is a great interest for young people. It's an opportunity for them to come out having a skill that is paying a great salary as well. There's partners in the community that could assist with that as well. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I don't think that's an issue. I think, when you look at advanced manufacturing, which was one of the academies, coding can fit right within a program such as that. So I think there's some wiggle or some flexibility to be able to do something of that nature.
Thank you.
Yep. All set?
All set.
All right. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Ms. Davis and board members. Get a microphone. And I'm here to give, my name is Mel Atkins. I'm here to give a brief update around the Summer of Success. Just a reminder, that was our our main summer school program that ran June 21st through July 22nd. A 5-week program. And then we have the locations listed. There were 9 K-8 sites, 4 middle school sites, and 2 high school sites. Remember, there were approximately 3,900 kids that registered to attend the summer school. We ended up having just over 2,600, so 2,653 students attended at least one day. 1,900 in person, another 744 was online with that. And so we, at the end, I know I'm gonna say it at the end too, but there will be a formal evaluation of the summer school program, but it takes months, because we do with the fall map scores and things of that nature. And so conservatively, we will have it by December. We may have it earlier, but we'll make sure we share that information as well once we receive the full report. And then one of the highlights we tried this year was at the K-8 level was a piece on project-based learning. And so the charge that we really worked with as a team was how do we, disguise learning to make it more fun? This is still summer. They're coming out of a pandemic, and so we needed to really kind of use our creative thinking to really, mix it up a little bit. And so what they ended up doing was it was different projects for different grade levels. Like Welcome to the Neighborhood was K1. It was someone was comic book algebra. It was things like that they made projects. And I'm not gonna click on the link right now, but on the link what they did was some teachers uploaded their projects, and so if you can see kind of the end goal of really what happened. The students really got into it, and so they turned out great, for the first time, doing that work. Shifting a little bit to the high school division, I know it says 19 students had graduations, but we're happy to say since then we're up to 24, it's still counting. And so we're trying to get students through, almost as we speak. And so we're expecting a few more students. And I know there was a high school graduation at City Middle High recently, and so we're excited to really honor those students that really went above and beyond and persevered, with a lot of stories that go behind it. And so we're really proud of that. And so with professional development, there was a total of 232 staff attended professional development over the week of June 14th. It was around project-based learning, social emotional learning, ELA, math, classroom management. So there was a variety of topics that was explored during that week as well. And once again, there will be a formal report to see the progress. How well did it work? Ultimately, that's what we have to know. So, questions?
I got a question. Do we have an idea of what facilitated the drop-off from enrollment to actual participation?
Good question. And so we looked at it, because as I saw that number, we started to look at previous summer schools and see what we had. We didn't track it every year, but when we did have it, sometimes it was like a 50% drop-off. And so we've tried to come up with as many strategies as we can think of to make sure if you register, say in March, that you attend, starting in June. So that's always been a challenge. We got a few ideas up our sleeves for next year, how to increase that. But it was a little bit higher than previous years, but it's always something we got to continue to work on.
Oh, and then the online participation, was that something that was, the numbers, were the drop-off about the same, or was it higher?
That's a good question. Don't quote me on this, but I believe it was similar. Okay. And so, we weren't, not as many students signed up for the online piece, because they had online for so long, but there was some families that wanted that choice, and we thought it was important to continue to offer that opportunity for students. And that.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Atkins' remarks conclude our agenda for this evening. Just I captured a couple of to-dos for a future work session. So the first of which is backwards mapping the academies to include salaries and employment opportunities and things of that nature. So Ms. Davis, I will go to Dr. Roby with that request and see if we can get it onto a work session. Mr. Ross referenced who are asked about the instructors. So we will also include in a work session credentials, recruitment of instructors, finding ways to put practitioners into the classroom, folks who are in the field, who can support our teachers. And then Ms. Grant also noted opportunities for students to not only attend dual enrollment opportunities in the school, but also in higher education as well. So I wanted to make sure.
She's gonna laugh when she hears that one, but
But
she's
again,
heard it before, but yes.
Well, I just want to make sure I documented that.
And even if, I think my question was more in the context of the academies.
Academies.
I'd like to see it everywhere, but even if we need to kind of concentrate it at first and look at the academy, since there will be some of that co-learning, just some opportunities for students to be on campus.
That makes sense. So other agenda items, and if you, of course, if you do not have any at this time, we can communicate via email, and we will submit the agenda to Ms. Davis. Any items at this time?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I will adjourn our meeting.